And good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're watching from here in the Philippines and from all over the world. Thank you so much for joining me in my podcast, the RJ Ledesma Podcast. Now, in my podcast, I like to interview the country's pioneering business personalities and entrepreneurs to learn more about how they think about doing business. What are their success secrets, and can we hack those success secrets and reapply them in our own businesses? How have they innovated or pivoted their businesses during this pandemic? But more importantly, let's find out what opportunities do they see emerging in the new normal and in the next normal. Now, is there a business personality or entrepreneur that you would like me to interview here on the podcast? Please do let me know. I would love to have them here on the show and to pick their brains and to learn from them. Please drop me a message. We are live right now on Kumu CBRC TV, Global Pinas TV, and the Bounce Back Official Network. Now, before everything else, I would just like to thank my good friends at Team LinkedIn. Again, thank you so much. They sent us this nice hoodie over here, Top 100. Let me start up. Top 100 Filipinos on LinkedIn. So again, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on the Top 100 Filipinos on LinkedIn for 2 years in a row. It's really, I enjoy the LinkedIn platform. It really gives me an opportunity not only to network with other people and collaborate with them, but also to inspire other fellow Filipinos in LinkedIn as well. So again, if you aren't, if not, please, if you want me to follow you on LinkedIn or if you want to follow me, please drop me a request. I would love to follow you and to learn from you on LinkedIn. And at the same time, I just want to thank the folks behind the Top 100 in LinkedIn. I want to thank Virginia Bautista, Bless Baluyot, Erwin Ursua, Marketing in Asia, the Vineyard Brand Consultancy, Modern Ads and Promo, and the VPF Creative Marketing Communications team. Again, congrats to all my fellow LinkedIn Top 100 Filipinos. It's such an inspiring bunch of people. I hope that you learn from my example as much as I learned from yours. And with that, moving on to a very interesting talk that we have here tonight on the RJ Ledesma Podcast. Tonight, I'll be speaking to the good folks of Vessell PH. And tonight, I'll be speaking to the Associate Product Director of Vessell, Alex Pelayo. Now, Vessell is an e-commerce platform that aims to help businesses bring the brick and mortar experience online and empower human connection in the digital landscape. And I want them to really clarify and help us better concretize what that means. And having said that, before we get into our discussion with Alex, let me show you a short video about Vessell.
Connection is a part of being human. It's how we thrive. But at a time when our survival hinges on taking a step back, we've got to rethink how we connect. While going back to our familiar world remains a challenge, it doesn't mean we can't move forward and reach out, build communities, serve our customers, and create meaningful relationships. With Vessell, you'll have the tools to reinvent your business online. Imagine a home base on a digital landscape where you can continue to do what you do best and more in just a few clicks. Optimize your presence online. Analyze consumer behavior. And bring your signature brand experience right to your customers' fingertips. Empower your business and build deeper connections with Vessell.
Again, it's a really interesting video. Thank you so much to the Vessell team for joining us here tonight to explain a bit more about how your product can help businesses like mine, SMEs, small and micro businesses, small and medium enterprises rather, to grow and scale hopefully during this pandemic. Again, Alex, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. I was really
Really love it.
excited to
Oh,
be
yeah.
on the show.
I'm excited to have you here as well. And
Thank you.
I guess one of the first questions which I have is, as I was reviewing the materials coming from Vessell, I noticed that you had two L's over there. And I think that's intentional as well. No, why exactly are you spelling Vessell with two L's? Vessell.
Yep, that was intentional. We really zoomed in on the branding. Basically, it's a vessel for sellers, Vessel. So
Okay. Kuha ko
by
na.
by definition, kasi di ba, vessel is a large boat or craft that can float on water. And what do people do? They board on boats. They onboard on the boat. So what we do is, or how we explain it is, we onboard sellers to Vessel, so that they can start their e-commerce journey or their online selling journey.
Now, I was watching the video that they showed before you coming on to the program, Alex. I noticed that a lot of the imagery that was being used were people in the pandemic. You having to come, wearing your face shields or delivering things,
Mhm.
and they're all practicing social distancing. So the notion that I get from Vessel was it a business that was created during this pandemic? Because on the show we've had a lot of businesses which because you're addressing a pain point, they were born and then they grew during the pandemic. Is that the same case for Vessel?
Vessel was actually a product that was pivoted because of the pandemic. Version one of Vessel was your simple website builder. It helps
Mhm.
businesses put together a website easily. But because of the pandemic, it became a tipping point for us to really understand what the market needed, and hence Vessel was born, which is the e-commerce solution.
I love that. So literally, let's go into the whole story because I
Mhm.
mean the story behind the actual pivot, and to ask you how did the pivot do well for the business, or did it just springboard the business or hockey stick the business towards success, or just keep it the same level? I want to find out. But right now, Alex, like I said, no, you had a chance to really watch the show and study how I ask questions. I'm very happy about
Mhm.
that because right now, something like Vessel is often pitched to investors. So what would be your elevator pitch to explain to investors what Vessel is all about?
So what Vessel is all about, it's an e-commerce solution that enables businesses to launch an e-store. But what makes it special is that we've taken a look at all of the tools and connections that are needed to really centralize the e-commerce operations in one place.
I see. So I get that, and maybe other people who are into this e-commerce space or people playing there get that. But like no, I sometimes I after these podcasts, I speak to my dad. Dad, I interviewed Vessel tonight, and, and I like explain this elevator pitch to him. it might just, he just might get spaced out. So how would explain that to like my dad who's 78 years old? What is Vessel all about?
It's funny because, I talk to my dad regularly also. And up to now, all he can say is that I work in IT. No matter how much I explain the ins and outs of it.
I get you.
But
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you.
but in layman's terms, e-commerce, right? The act of e-commerce is the sales of goods online. But e-commerce is more than just that e-store. It's a whole shebang of things like a lot of business processes that need to be considered. So how I would explain it over and over to my dad would be it's the act of selling online, and we just make it easier for businesses to adapt to selling online.
I see. So right now on screen we're flashing the website of Vessel. If you want to visit, that's Vessell, Vessell.ph. And if you're a small and or medium scale business right now listening to the program and you're interested to find out a bit more about Vessel, I invite you to visit the website of Vessel. But more importantly, I'm very thankful that Alex came prepared to offer a special promo to all the listeners of the RJ Ledesma podcast who might want to engage their services. Tell us a bit more about that.
Right. So Vessel hasn't been fully launched yet. We're in the works of doing a full launch towards next year, no. So right now, just to get things started, and more importantly, so we can get feedback from actual users, we want to remove the barrier of investing in e-commerce, right? It could be an expensive engagement. So we dropped the price point to 8.8. It's a subscription based model, so every month you pay 8.8. And we want to help businesses get started on their journey.
So again, just to be clear, no, right now they're dropping the price from 14,999 to
Mhm.
8.8 for their monthly subscription, locked in for a year, and hopefully, when you enjoy the services of Vessel, you just keep on going with Vessel. And having said that, I want to go back right now to really discussing the pain point, because on the show it's really
Mhm.
what the entrepreneurs, the people listening to the show, can benefit from here. It's really the journey of creating the product and seeing what makes it unique. And we kind of just covered that earlier on. No? I mean, sweepingly, we covered it, what happens. But I want to go to the thinking process. Alex, I know that you've been there from the start when this was put together and when it had to pivot. So I wanted to ask you really right now, no, what was the initial pain point that came about when you created Vessel? And I know Vessel is part of like a portfolio of IT companies that belong under Yondu, and we'll talk about Yondu later on. But how did in within that corporate structure, how did you realize and identify that this was a pain point that needed to be addressed among competing pain points in the market?
Okay. I'll start off logically. I'll start talking about Yondu first because there's a history there on how we came to Vessel, if that's okay with you.
Sure. And
And then
Yondu,
talk
just
about Vessel. Yep.
sure. And can you explain what Yondu is all about in the scheme of things? I understand it's a Globe subsidiary. Can you help us also better understand what Yondu is
Mhm.
about?
We're a sister company of Globe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're called Yondu. Specifically, we're an IT solutions provider here in the Philippines. We recently celebrated our 20 years.
Wow.
Um, that was, I think, last September, if I'm not mistaken. So we've been around in the IT space for 20 years. And, when we first started out, it was purely an IT manpower company, IT services company.
Okay. Okay.
But as the business grew, we offered more services like expert services such as project management, business analysis, etc. And then we also offered custom software development. Um, to Towards the recent few years, we started exploring offering off the shelf products, just so we can help ease the burden of companies who needed specific types of software. Vessel was born because we were receiving requests for, if you're familiar with the term, content management systems.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and usually, when businesses come to us for a custom development project, there's usually a sizable investment um, tied to that, right? Since you're customizing the features for them. So version one of Vessel was born because we were receiving requests for um, content management systems. And since
And
the
then, sorry,
features,
we'll step back
Mhm.
a bit, no? For those who might not understand what you mean by content management system, because they might have that problem also right now. What exactly do you mean by custom management system? Can you give us a better example, a clear example? Oh.
Okay, so for example, you're a business that wants to launch a website, a company website. What a content management system enables them to do is to easily put together the content and put it online.
And what does that entail? So I mean to make it even easier for people to understand, like,
Okay.
okay, Dad, hey Dad, let me explain to you what content management software is.
Um, if you're typing on a typewriter instead of typing on a typewriter, you people can go to that software and basically type there, and then it will be published on the internet.
Got that. And then
In a
when once
nutshell.
in a nutshell, exactly in a nutshell. But when it happens, so you started developing a vessel to initially meet that pain point of companies who needed custom management, who needed to get a CMS system in place, but didn't have the sort of expertise to do it in house. And
Expertise to
of
do
course,
so. Correct.
expertise plus it's a large capital investment, so they just go to you to get sort of like the software to run it. Is that right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Now, having said that, and then you said that that's version one of Vessel. Um, there are a lot of different software companies here right now offering maybe similar solutions. But what's sort of like the secret sauce that made Vessel a bit more differentiated or more innovative versus what they were doing here right now? What was the unique and innovative point or differentiating factor of Vessel?
So we talked, you used the word a while ago, pivot, and that's what we did with that initial idea of Vessel. Because of the pandemic, we really wanted to understand what the market needed, what businesses needed. We went through the whole process of interviewing the target market, going through the whole market validation process. And what we found out was one, um, businesses didn't really um, in the rush to get started selling online. What was overlooked was the whole operational aspect, what was happening behind the scenes when operating an online business.
Sort of like the plumbing. I call it the organizational plumbing.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of what we did differently or what we changed from the product point of view, yes, we still help businesses launch the front end or the front facing aspect of e-commerce. But what we also zoomed in on was how can we make the plumbing or the business processes easier to adapt to.
I got that. Did this happen because of the pandemic, or this happened before the pandemic? So let's say you had version one that you were talking about initially, and it was running. Was it doing well, or it was, or the external factor of the pandemic made it, made you pivot it, or was there other factors aside from the pandemic that made you pivot the initial model of Vessel?
It was because of the pandemic. It was because of the pandemic which became our tipping point and justified everything that we were talking about. So when the pandemic hit, businesses around the world were affected, and they were looking for ways to survive. Um, so Vessel, what the thought process for Vessel was, how can we offer something more than just the software? How can we
Mhm,
make it
mhm.
easy for businesses to transition their business online, which
Mhm. And
covers
how
the whole ecosystem.
and how easy was it for you? I mean, I'm just wondering, no, because for many of us who had to pivot. I mean, I run a business also, which is Mercato, and of course,
Mhm.
I feel strongly that something like Vesa will help improve us, bring us online. But how are you able to interact with other companies during that time in the midst of the pandemic? Because that's also an interesting story. How did you reach out to them? How did you validate data when we couldn't all go around and do things? And meet
I
people physically.
guess I guess the beauty of working for a tech company is that we really maximize um, tools to get work done, right? So because of the pandemic, everyone was working remotely, the likes of Zoom, Google Meet, etc. So that's how we were able to, reach out to people and get feedback from other people as well.
Okay. So, having said that, no, if you were to compare, let's say, the performance prior to pandemic and the performance once the pivot happened, how did you see the change in the customers? Was it an immediate pickup kagad because you were able to solve these problems, or yeah, was it a totally different customer base that you were attracting now as a result of the pivot?
It was both of those. We were targeting a different market before. Then after we did the validation, we adjusted our bearings, and focused on a different market. And because we were able to change the value proposition and then the communications behind what the product was, we saw an almost immediate uptake
Wow.
in terms of people that were reaching out to us or who were interested in Vessel.
Interesting. Anecdotally, can you share with us some of the quote unquote case studies, or like somebody who started using, let's say, the beta version of Vessel, and they said, "Wow, this is," I mean, and something that made you feel good, Alex, and you go, "Wow, it worked." Because I know the stress of saying, "Okay, I'm going to pivot. I hope that this is going to work." Of course, you're confident about it, but when the product actually comes in and it works, you're like, "Ah, thank God,
You
it's
just
it's
keep your
doing its job."
fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You just
you're
hope
keeping
for
your
the
fingers crossed.
best.
Yeah, until the actual use case is there. How's that for you? Share with us a story.
Okay. I'll give your business as an example, the Mercato Central, right?
Mm-mm.
So when looking at Vessel's competitors, just to highlight the two major ones, Shopify is an online e-commerce service as well.
Mhm.
It enables businesses to easily set up shop, right? That's their unique selling point. On the other hand, you have the likes of, for example, WooCommerce. It's an
E-commerce.
open source software, meaning any developer can get access to that and build something uh, unique to their needs. Um, with Vessel, what we wanted to do was really focus on what businesses really needed. So in Mercato Central, for example, I understand that you have multiple uh, food vendors
That's right. That's
that
right.
that 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 get together every so often, and that's where people can wine and dine. So how do you bring a business like that online? Um, with Vessel, for example, we have a feature where you can define multiple locations. So if you, RJ, were to come to us, you can subscribe to the 8,800 plan. And what we do is we'd enable you to set up those different food providers
Hmm.
as their own branch under your online store.
Hmm.
So if I'm Alex Pelayo in Taguig and I wanted to order shawarma from one of your vendors, I can do so in Taguig online, and then it would be delivered to my house. So I don't have to physically go there anymore uh, to your locations.
Yeah. Kumbaga, I mean, my analogy would be parang almost like a metaverse. Parang this is Mercato online. This is the Mercato store
Yeah.
online. And technically, I have different vendors who are in my metaverse store, but they're actually based out of their own home kitchens, or in the Mercato locations, and they're selling on their own metaverse Mercato. Is that right? Would that be a
Yes, that's right.
similar
And I like
analogy?
the term you're using, metaverse.
Oh, so great. So that's part of it. But then the other interesting thing about what you're doing with this one, Alex, is that it's not just creating that store, but you said you're working on some plumbing issues. What are the plumbing issues that you encountered that get fixed up for you, that you saw were the biggest barriers, or the things that you were solving that other e-commerce stores, like, I guess, your competitors could not solve? Because I know that you're doing some, this is the work that
Mhm.
kumbaga, this is the hub, but you're solving the spokes as well, di ba?
To I'll break down the types of businesses that we talk to into two categories. One group of folks are just getting started with their online selling. In terms, if you can visualize their operations, they likely do everything within Excel in terms of
Mhm,
inventory
mhm,
management, in
mhm,
terms of sales management, etc. So one challenge for that type of business is how do you um, stay on top of your stocks and inventory and orders if everything is in Excel. Another type of company are the larger type of businesses who already do some sort of online selling or who already have their plumbings in place. Think big manufacturing type of companies.
Mhm.
They already have specific ways of doing things, staying on top of inventory, staying on top of stocks, making sure their stores are have a healthy inventory, etc. So the plumbing that we talk about it from the point of view of Vessel is how do you connect that e-store is to all of those things that are happening behind the scenes.
And so you're able to make it a bit more, I guess, seamless and real time for them. Is that right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I understand much better now how it works. And having said that, do you mind running through one example of how Vessel actually works? I know that you're going to run us through the website right now. That's okay with you. And people, if you want to follow along, if you're listening here right now, Clark, please show them again here on screen the Vessel website so they can also check it out for themselves. That's
SSEL.
VESSELL.ph. Okay, so yeah, the screen is yours, Alex. Please run us through the Vessel website.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah. And again, as Alex shares his screen, we'd like to remind everybody that we got a special offer for all the entrepreneurs out there who want to try out Vessel here right now. It's they've got a special discount for the listeners of the RJ Ledesma podcast from 14,999 per month to 8 per month to try it out. That's a monthly subscription, and you're locked in for 12 months. And we're sure that you'll enjoy the services that Vessel has to offer. There. So yeah, please walk us through the whole program.
Okay, I won't go through all of the pages since that will
Mhm.
be time consuming. But starting off, Vessel enables businesses to sell online, right? So starting off with the um, e-store. So this is an example of what that looks like. We offer different solutions as well, or product services under the Vessel umbrella, which is firstly the e-commerce website builder. And right now, we also have an integration or a service that integrates the e-store going onto G Life. Just to upsell G Life a little bit, this is a marketplace inside Gcash,
Yes,
which, if you're familiar, so we can easily connect e-stores going onto G Life as well. So we can offer that service to both um, people or businesses who are on Vessel and businesses who are using their own e-commerce provider. Um, One challenge that we noticed when we were reaching out to our target market was sometimes businesses didn't necessarily have the expertise or technical know-how to connect their shops to different tools. Like, for example, we have Talk to here is a chat bot and service request tool. So if you're shopping on a website and if you have a query for the customer service folks, this tool enables businesses to capture the request easily, and then everything is routed to a dashboard
hmm,
where the customer service team can stay on top of the requests.
got that.
We're connected to Mobile 360, which is an SMS blast service. So for notifications going towards customers and to the actual e-commerce operations folks, we're connected to Mobile 360. Um, we were very mindful in terms of the partners that we wanted to connect to Vessel, just so that we can maximize value for businesses. We have Mailchimp for electronic EDMs, electronic. I forgot what the D stands for, but email campaigns. We're connected to Grab and Entrego for delivery or
For logistics,
for
yes.
logistics. Yeah, and then we're connected to Google Suite for analytics and Facebook Business Manager. Um, I'll swing over to the industry since there
Go
were
ahead now.
interesting talking points here as well. what we wanted to be purposeful about also was, depending on the industry you're in, the specific workflows or flows for the customer journey would be different.
That's
The
right.
the the checkout flow for fashion is your standard e-commerce. You add to cart, you pay for the product, and then the item is out for delivery. With food and beverage, people want to scroll through the menu, right? They want to uh, add toppings to their hot dog, and then check out and then deliver. What new feature that we added on to Vessel because of our market validation was, you'll see it's not yet here, but we've spoken to the grocery and pharmaceutical industries, and one struggle that those businesses had was, you like for example with groceries, you want to make sure that all of the items that you ordered are in the cart, right? But that sometimes that's not the case.
That's
Maybe
right.
milk brand A is not available, so you have to swing over to milk brand B. So in terms of the workflow, we built a feature in such a way that we can really customize the way the customer experience. So we can edit the cart first before checking out and before payment actually happens. Just show the customer is guaranteed that they have all the products that they wanted and they don't overpay for um, what they ordered.
This is what I find interesting actually about the platform is that, speaking as an entrepreneur and as a business person, is that I like that you've actually segmented it into the different customer experiences over here, because one of the pain points I
Thank
had
you.
using some of the other previous platforms is that some were not some were not compatible for your industry. Let's say for food and beverage, there were certain
Hmm.
platforms that they were meant for retail, not for dining, or for
Hmm.
or for delivery. So I like how you've actually defined the different industries that you can cater to over here.
Thank you. We were very mindful to make sure we can accommodate all industries, regardless of the business. Um, Last two areas
Please
that
go
we
ahead.
wanted to show, pricing. What I wanted to highlight here is, we want businesses want to know how much, and they ideally the all of the transaction fees should be transparent to them.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
how we designed this page was to really highlight that. So we highlighted the monthly subscription, which is here. So
And
you'll
that's what
see
you're
that the
offering us
promo
right now, right? The eight
prices.
eight per
Yep,
month.
exactly. Um, what makes us different is that we're offering enterprise grade features for an affordable price point. So that's here. One cool feature that we included here on this page was a slider. So
Ah,
in terms
okay,
of
I got that.
transaction fees, if a company is interested to do e-commerce and they wanted to build a business case for it, we added a slider here. So based on monthly sales, they can get an idea of how much commission or transaction fee they would need to settle or pay for.
And basically, this is the business model that you guys have over here. You're paying a monthly fee, and you also get a transaction fee. That's right, no?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, got that.
One other feature that's not here, but I'll talk about a little bit. Um, we're eventually going to include a calculator here as well, so businesses or users can really enter specific figures and really get a breakdown of what their monthly billing would look like.
So I have a question for this. When you were saying that to make it easier for people to use the platform, like for many entrepreneurs doing online work, I mean, the most manual way to do it online is, kunyari, they call me, I want to order from you. So you then they order, and when they order, you ask them, send me a screenshot of your deposit slip. Diba? I mean, that's one
Hmm.
of the most crudest way of ordering.
Crude way of
You s-
doing it,
you
correct?
you solved it through a payments platform that is already on Vessel. Is that right?
That's correct. We're integrated with payment gateways. We're connected to payment gateways, so people can pay online already.
And the different payment gateways which you're using right now, I guess is Gcash is one of them.
We're
Um,
connected to Gcash. We're connected to Paynamics as one of our partners, which enables customers to use debit, credit card, even other e-wallets seamlessly.
Okay, I got that. And in terms of delivery, that's another pain point. Let's say for me as as a small entrepreneur, sometimes they make you call they make you call the
Exactly.
delivery partner, and that takes time also as well. So you sort of streamlined it where they can where you will also handle within the platform the delivery, or
Um,
contacting the delivery partner.
that's automated as well. So when someone places an order on one of our merchants' website, if they're connected to Grab, Grab would automatically pick up the item at the store's registered address and then
Hmm.
deliver to the customer's registered address. So that's
Got that.
seamless and built into the ecosystem already.
Fantastic. Got that. There's a really great question coming in here right now from Marco Polo. Is everything being monitored digitally? So do they have optics on this one? Can they see all these transactions going on for them? And in terms of data privacy, it's only them who has the available
Mhm.
information, and not Vessel.
Yeah, but basically we're not allowed to use the data, so we don't look into that. And a business will have access to uh what's happening behind the scenes. They get access to a dashboard and they can monitor from the orders all the way up to delivery. That's visible to the business. Thank you,
Wow.
Marco. No, good question.
Thanks a lot. Sige, please continue, Alex, if you got more to show us with the website.
Last talking point for here was the talk to us page. So this is your simple contact us form. Um, but what I wanted to highlight here is you can be sure that someone will respond to you in a timely manner. Haven't you had that experience where you go to our
Yes.
website, you submit a form and no one replies? That's so frustrating, right? So we do have a dedicated team of folks behind the scenes, first handling marketing related requests or handling this type of forms, and we also have a dedicated support team for technical related matters.
Okay. Got that.
So
Got
that's
that.
that's it for the website walkthrough. Let me stop sharing.
Now, having said all this one, very interesting. I guess the more practical questions for a small entrepreneur would be, okay, it sounds interesting. Um, how soon can I onboard? How long is the process? And how how tech savvy is it that I need to bring somebody in? Can it be somebody with almost like zero knowledge, or I'm not. I just do Facebook, or I don't even do Facebook. But can I do this one with you guys? How
Mhm.
do I go through the whole process?
First, we purposefully designed Vessel to be idiot proof, so you don't necessarily need to.
Then I'm
Uh,
the idiot you're looking for over here. Exactly.
so you don't have to have the technical know-how. We have a team of experts, right? We have UI UX designers, business analysts who design the features in a way where it's straightforward to use or intuitive to use. um, we purposefully remove the guesswork for businesses so they don't have to worry about uh, which delivery partner to connect to, how do you enable automatic payments, etc. We remove the guesswork. So for smaller or medium-sized enterprises, they can reach out to us. We'll set up a meeting, and we'll walk them through the whole process. On the other side of that coin, we also do focus on large enterprises. So these are businesses who already, like I mentioned, have their own set of systems and processes that need to be considered for e-commerce. So we accommodate those types of projects as well.
And for the SMEs that you're working with, how long does it take for them to actually go through the onboarding process? Are they the ones who actually manually upload all of their products over
All of
there?
this stuff. Yep. What we understood the pain point and the challenges that not all businesses necessarily have the know-how to do so. So what we do is help businesses from inception to launch, and if needed, to operations and after sales as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when a merchant is interested, we can onboard them in the span of 1 to 2 months, depending on the complexity.
I see. I see. And then, having said that, no, okay, I understand how Vessel actually works now for these merchants. in what you're seeing right now, you gave five different categories or five different industries where
Mhm.
people can actually come and play in. Can you help us better understand what have you seen based on your studies has been the ideal example of the businesses which can further leverage coming online? What are the SMEs that you're seeing, and even the large enterprises whose businesses can have an opportunity to grow? I know it sounds major generic, no, but I mean to say
Mhm.
there might be some businesses which you're seeing that right now. Oh, they're not leveraging the gaps, or they're not leveraging the full use of e-commerce, because if they came in, wow, their businesses would really shoot up.
Mhm. First, I'll talk about smaller retailers who are just dabbling in e-commerce, not really considering it to be a full-blown operation. For those types of businesses, how they can leverage Vessel and other e-commerce services now is to really find a way to centralize all of their data into one place. Just so from an operational point of view,
Mhm.
um, they're not going back and forth and worrying about, um, what tools to use, so that they should find ways so to make it easier for them to stay on top of the work that they're doing. I'll give an example. um, Imagine a retail business that's doing everything in Excel.
Mhm.
How do
Yes.
they make
Wow.
sure, especially during Christmas season? So let's be a little more detailed. It's Christmas season. Retail business is most likely having all of their sale campaigns and Christmas sale campaigns. What happens? The work involved for that is, you have to think about the content that you'll be posting on Facebook. You have to worry about what products to push, and if you even have the inventory to push those type of products.
Mhm.
So leveraging on Vessel or other e-commerce solutions will um, help them keep the data in one place and eventually easily pick up that those types of information, that so that they can do those types of sale campaigns easier.
May analytics ba yan that they can actually use in the end as they continue to generate this one? Does Vessel have that feature as well?
As of right now, no, but we've considered business intelligence and AI, automated intelligence, artificial
Yeah,
intelligence, as part of our roadmap over the years.
got that. And then how does it all now benefit? Let's say, what are the opportunities that can still be leveraged by large enterprises who might think that, we've got it intact, but actually you saw a gap now. Oh, this is the part actually where we can help you out a bit more in.
Mhm. It goes back to centralizing the data, right? Typical large business is most likely selling on marketplaces already. They're typically also selling in their own stores. Um, but how do they ensure that all of those channels are well stocked or well managed? So by integrating to services, or by connecting their systems to services that help keep everything in one place, the
Mhm.
idea there is they would become a little more efficient in terms of supply chain management and fulfillment.
I got that. So it's really the efficiencies that can be generated. For the larger companies, it's the efficiencies that can be generated by putting things together into centralizing things. And for the small businesses, it's actually the same thing with the additional benefit of coming now to a digital marketplace and being able
Mhm.
to leverage that as well. Does Vessel help them also from a marketing standpoint when they're online? So, for example, do they just have individual marketplaces or individual websites that people go to? How does it work?
Yeah, the output is business will have their own website. So from a marketing point of view, we enable businesses to curate um, the online shopping experience. Thank you for that question, because that's one thing that we want to highlight as well. What you get with Vessel is not just your typical standard e-store layout, right? We
Mhm.
have tools in place that really help businesses curate the shopping experience. Um, like, because of the pandemic, a lot of shoppers spend a lot of time online now, discovering or researching their products. So what would make a business stand out is how unique or how personalized their website or their
Mhm.
e-store is. So we have tools in place to address that need.
Do you also have them do marketing online, market the website?
We don't have that service, but we can help connect them to our other sister companies who offer that type of service.
Fantastic. Now, having put all this together, no, it looks like that Vessel is off to an auspicious start. You've sort of lined up all the different pain points that need to be solved, and you're solving them one by one. Um, so, where do you see, let's say, the use of Vessel about 5 years from now? Where do you see the journey of the Vessel brand?
Mm-hmm. You First, we want to build it in a way where we can enable businesses to, I'm sure you've heard this term, become omni-channel.
Yes.
So combining the online store along with their physical store experience. So if you buy online, if you buy a t-shirt online, but you're not sure if it fits, you can actually go to the store and try out the t-shirt before, taking it home. So one vision for Vessel is to enable businesses to do omni-channel selling. The other the other thing that we'd want to build on is using automation and artificial intelligence, really just to help push analytics or make it easier for businesses to use analytics uh, to grow their business.
Got that. And as we start to wrap up this discussion, Alex, I need your help putting all sort of like that entrepreneur hat. And what advice would you give to the entrepreneurs listening here right now, um, who understand basically the advantage of technology, especially what you're providing? You're not just an e-commerce builder; it's really you're a system
Mhm.
builder for them, right? And
Mhm.
and how it will really help them grow the business. What do you have to? What kind of advice would you give them right now? Those who are either hesitant, reluctant, or they just don't have the time or to pursue the opportunity.
Mhm. Um, Starting your online journey or even digital transformation doesn't need to be complex or expensive.
Hmm.
There are ways where you can get started easily, just focusing on specific things that you'd want to do. And, the likes of Yondu and Vessel can help businesses get started in that way.
Well, thanks so much, Alex, for sharing with us a vessel here right now. Vessel, again, for those who were here
Best
earlier,
sell.
it's Vessel. And if you want to visit the website, he showed them earlier on. We went through a walkthrough, but again, the website is Vessel, VESSELL.ph. Clark, let's flash that on the screen one more time. And of course, reminding people that right now, they really want to onboard you. So they're giving a great offer. You can find it on their website, but you can also find it here right now on the RJ Ledesma podcast. So from 14,999, it's down to 8,800 per month for a monthly subscription, 12 months locked in. And we hope that Vessel's able to help you grow your business, not just now in the new normal, but also in the next normal as well. So again, thank you so much for guesting here on the show. Alex Pelayo, any last words?
Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks so much for joining us over here. And again, to all those watching us here right now, if you like what you heard, if you're enjoying our program here right now, I recommend you to please tell more people to subscribe to the RJ Ledesma podcast on Spotify, on Google, and on Apple. Again, thanks so much. I'll see you in the next podcast.